BRB Blazer.
Yeah.
The consensus number 5 overall pick right here. I think this is where we kind of started differing in all of our rankings right now.
Yeah.
I'm a lot lower on Waller. I can't remember, Anthony, where you are. We do have a beer bet. So if you're new to the podcast,
Ocho.
we'll do beer bets where we will bet, obviously, and then the loser has to chug a beer. So we have a beer bet where me and Anthony said Darren Waller would go under 70 catches. Andre said Darren Waller would go over 70 catches. So I'm a little lower on Waller. I don't know if you want to go first, Dre, because it's kind of like your guy.
I mean, the sample size isn't there, so that's, could lead to the skepticism. I mean, this is his first full year, but he did have, 117 targets. I think that is going to drop. I do think the 90 catches for 1145 is where I think that is falling. I think the 3 touchdown is what I think goes up. I think him and Mark Andrews are like flipped. Like, I think he might get like more love on the touchdown side and less yards to where, that might switch. Like, I could see Andrews having a lot more catches in 60 to where I can have him seeing a lot less. So it's just the offense. They got all those wide receivers. They got Lynn Bowden, who's going to be like their like little Swiss Army knife. No one really likes Derek Carr, which is obviously another reason, but I just can't see him getting 25 less catches than last year going off the bet. I just still see at least 75 catches. I mean, I still think he's Carr's number 1 until until proven otherwise. And this whole coronavirus thing, I feel, is hurting the rookies learning the playbook and getting this chemistry to where he already knows a lot more. So he's got like that one up. And dude's still an athlete, too. He's a big dude, and he's fast. Like, on top of all that other stuff. And Gruden loves him.
He's just like a big body wide receiver,
big
basically.
Big boy, good story. Hopefully the Vegas lifestyle doesn't get to him. But yeah, top five.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time. Like, I know there is the 1 year, but I know there is some of these guys. They're still rookies. They're still, I don't think Ruggs' first year at least is going to be a target hog coming into this team. Tyrell's he is what he is. Renfro's a slot guy. I still have him pegged out for about 90 targets. So you tell me the guy's going to get 90 targets. Like Dre said, I think those 3 touchdowns are coming up. He's been relatively successful with this catch percentage. So, 90 targets, if he catches 70% of those balls and gets 5-6 touchdowns, he's going to finish in the top 8. And he's shown it. We get into some of these other tight ends, they haven't shown it. So that's where I'm like, okay, if I got someone who's shown it to me, who's shown he's a pretty good, you can almost say elite athlete for a tight end, you're going to get me 90 targets. He can be the one in a game, and he can actually take over a game. So that's where I come into some of these tight ends. It's like, can these tight ends take over the game, or are they just going to be 5 for 55 and a touchdown here and there, and they just plod their way to, kind of use that word, plod their way to a top 12 finish? I want someone who can kind of win me some games, and he can do that, especially in PPR leagues.
What round would you feel comfortable taking him in?
5? Like 6, like turn of the 6th, late 6th, early 7th.
Yeah, I'd say somewhere in 6th, 7th. I'm okay with it. 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
If I got my lineup kind of stacked out and I'm pretty balanced and I don't want to take a chance on a quarterback, I'm not mad at Waller in the 6th.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, that's not too bad. I guess the 7th is kind of like, I guess, where I would gauge it. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of Wallers on my team because I'll probably just try to reach for another player in that position, maybe a running back, if there's a good value there and whatnot. But I was just really looking at this Raiders offense right there. What I have Waller at 8. I was looking at the Raiders offense. So the last 2 years, I mean, obviously Darren Waller finished as tight end 3. Previous year before that, Jared Cook was there. He was the tight end 5. So I was just thinking like, okay, it's just kind of like the offense. Like, do they really funnel targets through the tight end? I mean, obviously Jared Cook did it 1 year. Next year, Darren Waller did it. But just really looking at the numbers here, both those seasons, the tight ends had 100 or more targets, but then no receiver went over 90 targets, and no wide receiver topped 750 yards 2 years in a row. I think that's why they went out in this draft. They get Henry Ruggs, they get Lem Bowden, they get Brian Edwards from South Carolina. Yeah. I think Josh Jacobs obviously is a guy where he can be utilized in the passing game. I know they got rid of Dwayne Washington. I think they still got Jalen Richard, right?
Richard's still there.
So he'll be utilized in the passing game here and there. But I just don't think that he's going to see 100-plus targets. I think that you have all these weapons that came in that it's kind of like, okay, we need weapons. You know what I'm saying? You can't rely on Hunter Renfrow, Tyrell Williams. I mean, was it Jordy Nelson for a brief stint until I think he got hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had much.
I'm thinking more of it's just like these tight ends have performed because there's no real weapons outside to get the ball to. So they're kind of like, okay, we have to move the ball through someone. And Derek Carr, obviously, I personally don't think is very good. So I think that he kind of is really leaning on these tight ends to get it done. Could it help them? Could like these weapons actually stretch the field and now maybe it opens the field up for Waller more? That's a possibility as well. But I'm just going to take the fact that if no receiver has seen 90-plus targets or 750-plus yards, that I would like to think that will
change.
Yeah, the regression will come back to the mean in a sense.
Yeah,
for these
I think we
receivers
all
and
think that. I mean, how low do you think? How do you see his targets going down to?
I can't remember what it
Because
said. He had
if you got
100.
If you have him at
97.
8, 9, you got to be putting him down for 70 targets roughly, unless you're projecting in some of these other guys to be going up to 90.
Yeah, I just think. I mean,
And I'm not and I don't think you're not talented if you can get 1,145 yards and catch 76% of your balls. And you got some
full season.
Yeah, you got some athletic ability to do that. We've seen some guys who are targeted high, and we can get into Gesicki later. He's 90 targets, he catches 50% of his balls, and there's some ugly numbers. I don't think you're as talented
They're discussing for sure
to do what he does to that. He might still be the number one next year.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I say. He could still be the best receiver next year with these guys developing, maybe halfway through, or by next year it's a different case. But he could very well still be the best receiver in Oakland.
And I mean,
he's
he's built like a receiver. He's 6'5". He's a bigger one, a bigger size, but he ran a 4.46 at the combine. So
4.46.
he ran a 4.46. You can look it up. 4.4. So he's 250 pounds almost. Like,
yeah,
he can run the seams as long as Derek Carr can hit him in stride. He's shown he can, and it's just a matter of it's the consistency, with him. But athletically, he's top notch. So,
and I told Dre, I was like, we have that bet for 70 receptions. I was like, did I look? He have Waller. I had him statted out for like 68 or 67 receptions.
And now no matter what,
it's right there.
Hey, you know what's funny? If he's in his room and he looks, he's like, if I do my math, that's 72. He's like, fuck that, 69 it is.
3 less
69. I did. Let me do my math. It's not 72. It's 69.
I'm gonna make sure my projections say 69 targets. No matter what.
Got to match for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just on the opposite side of like you get all these other talented players. You're obviously gonna have certain plays that are schemed to get rugs. Maybe bubble screens from limb out and end around. So, is he going to see 100-plus targets? I don't think so. And I think that just not seeing that many targets is obviously opportunities. The touchdowns weren't there for whatever reason it was. I mean, only for having 117 targets, he only had 5 end zone targets, which was 15th most amongst tight ends. I mean, you got to think of a guy getting 117 targets, kind of being the number one option in the passing attack. To only get 5 end zone targets is something that you don't like seeing. And I think now when you bring these other mouths to feed in through the passing attack with Ruggs and Bowden Jr., Brian Edwards and stuff like that, you see, like you say, you still have Hunter Renfrow. Yeah, I don't know. I just think there's going to be some regression. I think he's going to be drafted way higher because of what he produced last year, and that's just something like a price tag I personally won't be willing to pay. But we'll see what happens. We've got the beer bet. We'll keep you updated on the beer bet.
I should finish at 69 this year.
Man, that clip was informative, huh? Well, there's plenty more right here if you click that. Also, go ahead and subscribe right there.